What's up course heroes, welcome to yet another video. This is your boy Amit and today we are going to look at DeepSeek V3. Let's get started. So DeepSeek seems to be all the buzz. I have never tested it out. This is the first time during the video that I will be testing it out along with you. So buckle up, let's see how good this is. I am on their official website deepseek.com. If you go here and start now, you can sign up, register and start playing with it. Before we do that, here are some of the capabilities and benchmarks that have been reported by DeepSeek compared to some of the big models out there, which is Llama, Claude 3.5 and ChatGPT 4o. You can look up some of these terminologies and what those mean. But MMLU is essentially multitasking language understanding, and then human evals is in here as well, which is right here. How good does it do with English, multitasking in English? How does it do with coding? And I mean, the numbers seem pretty solid side by side compared to ChatGPT. How true those are, we are about to find out. But I wanted to first talk about how the benchmarks are looking. The math benchmark is what seems crazy insane, 39.2 compared to 9.3 from ChatGPT. The Chinese benchmarks are higher because this is a Chinese company. Some have said that they have essentially figured out a way to recreate ChatGPT for a cost that is significantly less. And this has bigger implications, right? Because if you can create a large language learning model by feeding it only a quarter of the data or tenth of a data of what ChatGPT and OpenAI and some of the other big companies have done, then you can reproduce this on large scale for different countries with different data sets. So that's the underlying theory and how they have pulled it off with a fraction of the cost. Here are some articles that I was reading from TechCrunch. This one was on December 26, 2024, that DeepSeek's new AI model appears to be one of the best open challengers yet. And you will notice here that it mentions, according to DeepSeek's internal benchmark, it outperforms both downloadable and closed AI model. Just like all other AI models, we don't know what the training data set is. Some have said that the data set is essentially the same as ChatGPT, because when you ask DeepSeek, if you look at this other TechCrunch article, just a day after the first one, they show a screenshot here where when you ask what model are you, DeepSeek replies by saying, I am ChatGPT. So we don't know what parameters it's trained on. Is it trained on OpenAI's chat? We don't know that. But today what we're going to do is use some of the testing evaluations that are used between DeepSeek and ChatGPT and compare those results side by side. So with that, let's get started. So to my left here, I'm using an app called Merlin. And within Merlin, I have selected the DeepSeek model. So if I click in here, I can see that my model selection is DeepSeek. And to your right side here, I have my ChatGPT 4o. So let's begin with the first simple question. And this question has been used for benchmarking to ask AI trick questions to see how it would respond. So the question is, Sally is a girl. She has 3 brothers. Each brother has the same 2 sisters. How many sisters does Sally have? And you can see DeepSeek did a good job of breaking this down. So it's saying Sally has 3 brothers. That means there are 3 male siblings. It's saying since Sally is one of the sisters, there must be 1 more sister to make the total number of sisters 2. So the answer to my question is Sally has 1 sister. Now, if you look to the right, that's exactly the same conclusion that ChatGPT 4o has come up as well. So far, seems comparable. Let me go back and ask DeepSeek, who are you? Same simple question for ChatGPT. They should both provide me with different answers. So they've both given me different answers, and DeepSeek did not say that it's ChatGPT. That's good. We are off to a good start. Now let's give it a coding problem to solve. I'm not a coder. I don't know if these results are going to be accurate or not, but what I can do is I can compare the results between ChatGPT and DeepSeek to see how close they look to each other. So they both started off with a command. I gave them a command to create a makefile to convert JPEG images to PNG images. So here it's defining the variables, and we have some explanation here, and then we have usage to see how we can run it. I think so far it's doing pretty good compared to ChatGPT. I mean, it's standing toe to toe with ChatGPT. I don't know if it's exceeding those benchmarks. That's yet to be seen. Let's continue to the next task. So the next one, I want to include some math, some common sense, and see if it could answer some real life questions. Hey, I'm looking for a 700 to 1000 calorie breakfast that's full of protein but doesn't include egg. Let's see what responses we get. So we got a smoothie bowl here as well from ChatGPT and from DeepSeek. Then we also have Greek yogurt parfait with nuts and fruit, and it's also giving me the calories along with each of those, and so is ChatGPT. So again, we are toe to toe with so far with these responses. What I did notice though, on DeepSeek I have about 10 results for breakfast options not including eggs but are high in protein, whereas on ChatGPT 4o I have about 3 different breakfast options. So something to note, I don't know if that's a win for DeepSeek and a L for ChatGPT, or if it's just a nuance between the two LLMs. Now let's move on to something that's more difficult. I have absolutely zero clue what the answer to this question is, but looks like they're both off to a start. So neutron energy, they both give me the right material thickness, and 1 centimeter material properties, tungsten carbide. And let's look at the calculation. So we have got some calculations here. Final estimate, given the high density, approximately 10 to 30% of the neutrons will be reflected by the 1 centimeter thickness. Let's go down here, approximately 25 to 28%. So this, in this case, again, I don't know what the right answer is, but it looks like we have a closer percentage range within ChatGPT compared to DeepSeek, which has given us a super wide range. And if I'm in the scientific field, I don't think a 10 to 30% delta is something I want to work with, right? We're crunching numbers. I'm guessing that delta has to be shorter so we can get to an accurate number. That's again my hypothesis, and still don't know who is a clear winner here. Okay, next we're going to move something that will test whether AI can summarize tasks and understand sequence of events. So I have the same paragraph pasted in both models. To your left, in my Merlin window is your DeepSeek model, and to the right is the ChatGPT 4o model. So this is the chain of reasoning, kind of chain of thought, because first when AI came out, the job was to try to figure out what's the next logical word or sentence that I need to form. Whereas in this one, we are reversing that and seeing how it could deconstruct this into a sentence that makes logical sense. So given the command, let's see both of them churn out the result. With DeepSeek, it says Bob and his dog walked to the park where they played fetch and chased a squirrel before returning home together. And ChatGPT came up with Bob and his dog went for a walk to the park where they played fetch, chased identical answers. So this might have been trained on the same data set that OpenAI trained ChatGPT on at a lower cost, which is awesome. For our next one, we're going to turn to art and ask it a subjective question to see what kind of answer we would get. We definitely got a much longer answer from DeepSeek. I don't want to say it's well thought out or has more info, but it seems longer than the one from ChatGPT. I'm going to give them both a read and then come back and tell you which one I think is a better answer. All right, after reading both responses, they seem identical, but I have to give this one to DeepSeek over ChatGPT just for the sake of the argument that this one is much easier to read with the bolded words, and I'm getting a few categories here, which I also got here. So for example, with ChatGPT, I got unsettling, surreal elements with biomechanical and grotesque imagery. And then on the DeepSeek model, I got pretty much the same thing: biomechanical imagery, eroticism, and dark otherworldly landscapes. But it also says unsettling themes, which is also mentioned here. And what I like more about DeepSeek is the breakdown. So that to me seems like a much more thought out answer versus GPT-4's response. For my final one, I'm going to go to one of my favorite movies of all time, Interstellar, and I am going to ask both of them the exact same question, and I am going to tell them, and I'm prompting them to explain this to me as if I am in kindergarten. Let's see what kind of results we get. Now, one thing to note here is I have not mentioned that I'm talking about the movie Interstellar, but given the fact that I'm talking about gravity, I'm talking about Miller's planet, I'm talking about time, it should know that I am talking about Interstellar, the movie by Christopher Nolan. All right, reading both of these explanations for my final test, I'm going to have to give this one to ChatGPT only because DeepSeek followed my prompt for the first paragraph and then it went into a simple version of what's a black hole. Whereas ChatGPT, I feel like explained it way better, that if I was to take both of these explanations and tell it to my kindergarten son, I feel like he would understand more based on what ChatGPT told me versus what DeepSeek told. There you have it, course heroes. This was, to me, a close tie without having an obvious winner. If you have used DeepSeek over ChatGPT recently, I would love to know in the comments below which of these models you're finding great results with. As always, anything that AI says, take it with a tiny grain of salt, do your own research, form your own opinions, and this is the new Wild Wild West, so make sure you are armoring yourself properly to navigate the Wild West. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Until next time, keep creating.